Beneath the veil of normality, monsters walk among us. Our first tale uncovers a man who wore a mask of deception. Karl Denke, born into the quiet serenity of Germany, was no ordinary man. His early life was unremarkable, a humble tradesman by day. However, as the night fell, was consumed by an insatiable darkness that few could fathom. Over the course of his life, Denke's horrifying secret life claimed the lives of over 30 innocent beings. Their fate was sealed by Denke's monstrosity that saw them not as humans, but as a source of sustenance. He meticulously butchered them, preserving their flesh as food, a macabre testament to his gruesome deeds. As Denke grew older, his mind descended into a realm of madness that blurred the boundaries of humanity. Behind closed doors, Denke was a cannibal, preying on the unsuspecting, turning the innocent into his victims. His hunting ground was his hometown, where he lived a double life, unseen and unsuspected. His reign of terror ended abruptly when he was captured. Yet the true horror of his deeds, including his chilling culinary practices, was only revealed posthumously. In his prison cell, Denke took his own life, leaving behind a legacy of fear and revulsion. Denke's true nature, along with the gruesome details of his cruel crimes, was unveiled only after his death, a chilling reminder that even the most ordinary facade can hide the evilest deeds. Lurking in the obscure corners of society, a beast was on the prowl. This was no myth, but a man named Yang Xinhai, hauntingly termed as the Monster Killer. Born into poverty in rural China, Yang's tormented upbringing served as a grim prelude to a life drenched in horror. Yang left a staggering toll of at least 67 victims in his wake. His monstrous acts were not just confined to murders. His horrifying repertoire also included assaults, painting a grisly picture of a man who derived satisfaction from the suffering of others. Each murder was carried out with chilling brutality, his victims often bludgeoned to death as they slept, their homes transformed into scenes of unimaginable atrocity. His reign of terror seeped across 4 provinces, etching a trail of blood and fear in its path. It was not until the year 2003 that the beast was finally cornered. Apprehended by the authorities, Yang displayed no remorse, his icy demeanor sending shivers down the spines of those in the courtroom. A swift trial led to his execution, drawing the curtain on one of the most terrifying chapters in China's criminal history. Yang, the monster killer's reign of terror, may have ceased with his execution, but his ghastly legacy continues to cast a sinister shadow over the rural landscapes of China to this day. In the labyrinth of affection, a reaper found his sanctuary, his hunting territory. Enter Charles Sobrage, a man who wove a complex and intricate web of deceit, manipulation, and charm in the vibrant hippie trail of Southeast Asia. His prey, innocent, unsuspecting young tourists, usually in groups of 1 to 2, swooned by his charisma and utterly entranced by his exotic tales. These unsuspecting souls were completely oblivious to the danger lurking beneath Sobrage's charming facade. Sobrage, a master of manipulation, and would lure his victims, totaling well over 20 in number, into a false sense of security, then strike with deadly precision and cruelty when least expected. His crimes were not just inhumane and brutal, but chillingly calculated. Each victim was meticulously chosen, and their deaths, often by poison or stabbing, were methodically planned and executed. He committed a series of heinous murders that spanned multiple countries, leaving a trail of terror and heartbreak in his wake. Disturbingly, he often adorned his victims with bikinis before leaving them lifeless, earning him the notorious nickname, the Bikini Killer. But like all predators, his reign of terror couldn't last forever. After a sequence of gruesome murders that shook the world, the law finally cornered him. Charles Sobrage was captured, tried, and sentenced to life imprisonment. His bone-chilling tale serves as a stark reminder. Sobrage's charm masked a deadly predator, a chilling reminder that even love can be a hunting ground for the wicked. In the hushed stillness of the night, a slayer was meticulously at work. He was none other than Serhiy Tkach, a name that would come to relentlessly haunt the cold depths of the Soviet Union. Born in Ukraine, Tkach was a former forensic expert, a dark paradox that his profession later aided him in committing a string of spine-chilling crimes. He was an elusive shadow, an eerie whisper carried by the wind, a silent slayer that instilled bone-deep fear into the populace. His method of execution was blood-curdling. Tkach patiently stalked his victims, using the shroud of darkness as his vile cloak. His victims of choice were young, unsuspecting women, their promising lives viciously snuffed out before they even took flight. His reign of terror was a long, nightmarish saga spanning 2 gruesome decades, leaving a trail over 30 bodies across the Soviet Union. The horrifying details of his murders, from his cold calculation to his savage brutality, are a terrifying testament to his inhumanity. Yet every reign of terror has its downfall, and so did Tkach's. In 2008, he was finally captured and sentenced to life imprisonment. Tkach's of terror was finally halted in a grim prison cell, but the silent screams of his victims and his silent slayings cast a long, terrifying shadow. In the sanctum of mercy, a sinister figure was at play. Niels Hogel, a nurse hailing from Germany, demonstrated that not all angels bear goodwill. This seemingly regular man, who should have embodied care and compassion, transformed into a grim reaper, claiming the lives of over 300 innocent patients. His victims ranged widely: men, women, and in the most distressing cases, children. The sick and the weak, the elderly and the young, none were spared in killing spree. In his twisted game, Hogel's modus operandi was chillingly basic but morbidly effective: lethal injections, administered under the pretense of ordinary medical care. The mundane procedure of a needle prick morphed into a death sentence as patients slipped into unconsciousness, never to wake again. His dark spree several years, his victims tragically unsuspecting of the danger they were in. It was only through a colleague's suspicion that the horrifying truth was revealed. Hogel was arrested, tried, and handed a life sentence. But the scars he left behind, the families torn apart, and the lives snuffed out prematurely, are painfully enduring. Hogel, the so-called angel of death, mutated a sanctuary healing into a killing field. A chilling reminder of the malevolence that can lurk even in the halls of mercy.